skal vi så lige få det der billede på, og så gør vi sådan der. Og så siger vi pænt goddag. Det bliver søndag, og hvis du ser på det her billede, der ligner en drage, der tager bad, så har du klikket på Pias Creative Corner. Jeg hedder Pia, og det her det er et damepenge-billede. I dag, den første time, hvor det hele er på dansk, der skal vi tale lidt om det her billede, og så skal jeg lege med farver. Når vi har været en time igennem det, så går jeg over til den engelske udgave af min stream, og det vil sige fra klokken 4 cirka, så kommer det til igen at handle lidt om det her billede her, og så skal vi lave en diamond-painting. For jeg er startet på det næste billede, og så lidt for sjov i dag, der tog jeg sådan en tur med lykkehjulet på min tablet, for at se, hvad kunne der så være efter det her nye billede. Er der noget, jeg skal forberede? Og faktisk kom den og fortalte mig, at jeg skal arbejde på mit conversion. Så det tænker jeg at gøre i en måneds tid nok. Får det et skud for borgerne. Det passer meget godt i forhold til, at jeg gerne vil lægge lidt energi i mit korsting, og så kan jeg sidde og arbejde med den der også. Men i første omgang, så er der det nye billede, som jeg har startet på, og jeg havde en lille ikke planlagt stream i går, hvor jeg faktisk kittede det op, altså puttede sten i bøtter og startede billedet op. Men jeg synes godt, jeg vil lave lidt i dag igen på det. Jeg har valgt at have en lidt mere afslappet holdning, eller lidt mere laid back holdning til min diamond-painting her hen over sommeren, og det er også derfor, min streaming er gået markant ned i frekvens. Jeg har rigtig, rigtig mange udfordringer med min krop og andre ting i det virkelige liv. Så derfor så har jeg, for at det stadigvæk skal være til glæde og til gavn for mig, og det stadigvæk skal være noget, jeg gør, fordi jeg synes, det er sjovt, så har jeg valgt, at det skal være anderledes det her. Jo. Kan du lige komme tilbage igen? Fokus. Drille mit kamera lige lidt. Når vi har slet ikke åbnet den her. Det er måske derfor. Kan du lige... Don't do that. Og så venter jeg lige på, at den åbner, men altså, den er nok lidt blevet lidt forvirret, fordi jeg havde nogle... jeg måtte lige genstarte og sådan noget, så nu tager vi lige og... Gør noget. Det er fordi den står på det der. Okay. Kom lille computer. Arbejd med mig, ikke mod mig, med mig. Der. Min computer er lige... Jeg tror, det er fordi, jeg har testet nogle ting med den, og så bliver den sådan lidt træt af livet. Det der hjalp lidt på det faktisk. Ja, godt. Og så skal vi have en... Ja. Og så skal vi have en zoom-faktor på den. Sådan der. Zoom out further. Zoom out further. Sådan der. Det er det her moderne, nymodens ting her, og nogle gange så kan det altså godt gå lidt i selvsving. Når man får rodet for meget rundt med det, så bliver det sådan lidt forvirret. Så nu får I lige lov til at se lidt på mit hoved også her. Ja. Sådan der. Fordi så kan jeg rent faktisk få det meste af billedet med, fordi det er faktisk ikke så stort, det her billede her, jeg har lavet. Sådan der. Nu tror jeg, jeg vil være med. Jeg kan ikke få det hele med, men jeg kan få rigtig meget af det med. Så. Klokken er 1:03, så jeg går i gang. Først vil jeg lige præsentere kort. Det her hedder Piers Creative Corner, og det oprindeligt hedder det kreative hjørne på dansk, og jeg har også været sådan lidt omkring, at bare skulle hygge hjørnet, men det her det er det her, det landede på, og det gjorde det selvfølgelig, fordi at jeg jo gerne vil også kunne, jeg vil sige det på den måde, mine internationale kontakter skal også ligesom kunne udtale mit navn, og det var det sådan et kreativt hjørne, så var jeg allerede, hvis det allerede 2/3 af dem, der vil følge mig, vil være udfordret, hvis de skulle sige hej til mig eller andet. Så hej Helle, velkommen til. Så der, hej Ulla, velkommen til. Jeg håber, I har det godt, og at I nyder her søndag. Det har jo været, eller er, Le Mans weekend, det er det lige en lille time nu. Og Le Mans er det her 24 timers racerløb nede i Frankrig. Så det har weekenden stået på. Jeg havde en lille overraskelsesstream, eller ikke planlagt stream i går. Fordi jeg var sådan lidt, min mand var ude at arbejde, og det var sådan en af de her situationer, hvor det kunne tage en time, men det kunne også tage 4 timer. Så tænkte jeg, nu skulle jeg alligevel sidde og være klar til det her nye billede her, så måske jeg bare skulle gå på. Det gjorde jeg. Så der kommer til at ligge den, og jeg tror ikke, jeg har lagt den op til fuld tilgængelighed nu på YouTube, men der kommer den til at ligge, den fra i går også. De fleste af mine streams kommer til at ligge på YouTube også. Hvis der er nogen, der er smuttet lidt, fordi jeg ikke har nået at flytte dem, og så bliver de slettet inden for Twitch, og jeg har ikke adgang til dem. Så det er bare for at sige, det er derfor. Jeg har været på Twitch i 1 år, jeg har været på YouTube 2 år, jeg har lavet videoer på YouTube, jeg har også streamet på YouTube, og jeg har lavet diamond painting i 4 og har været, men før det der strikkede jeg, og før det igen der lavede jeg grønnes perlesyn, da jeg var ung, så det kreative del af mig den kreative del har altid været sådan en del af mit liv. Diamond painting kom til at fylde meget, og det gjorde det, fordi at jeg måtte opgive min strikning lidt. Jeg har bedst lide at strikke, eller kan bedst lide at strikke store tæpper, og de er rigtig tunge at sidde med, og jeg vil selvfølgelig helst strikke de tykke tæpper, og de er endnu værre at sidde med, så det måtte jeg opgive, og så var det sådan lidt, hvad skal jeg så lave? Og så blev det diamond painting, jeg faldt over. Det her billede her, det er et billede fra Diamond Art Club, det hedder Spring Showers, og det er sådan et, der er 50 x 65 cm, så det er ikke vildt stort, men det er heller ikke helt sådan et snack size, synes jeg. Toppen ser sådan her ud. Og den er jo bare, jeg synes jo bare, at de her drager her er enormt søde. Altså det er jo bare sådan, det er ikke fordi, jeg kan ikke forsvare det med, at jeg har børn, og det er derfor, jeg ligesom, hvad skal man sige, falder over dem, eller jeg kan bruge dem til det. Denne her kommer på vores badeværelsesdør hænge. Det eneste, jeg har ændret eller gjort anderledes på denne her, det er, at jeg hernede har lagt nogle sorte krystaller i stedet for originalfarven, fordi der synes jeg, det vil jeg. Jeg kan godt lide at sætte mit eget lille præg på billedet, og det kan godt være, det kun er mig, der ved det, men det er også nok. Så det har taget mig 6 uger cirka at lave det her billede, og det er lang tid for mig. Billedet har runde sten, så egentlig som udgangspunkt, så vil jeg sige, så vil det være et, jeg vil være rimelig hurtigt færdig med. Der er flere årsager til det. Den ene er, at de første 3 uger lavede jeg kun på stream. Så der nåede jeg faktisk kun en række eller sådan noget. Og så de sidste 3 uger, jeg har arbejdet med det. Så man kan sige, reelt har jeg arbejdet 3 uger intensivt med at gøre det færdigt. Der har min krop ligesom modarbejdet mig rigtig meget, og ja, det har været lidt op på ark. Men det er blevet færdigt, og jeg er som altid meget, meget tilfreds med resultatet. Jeg synes, det er et utroligt smukt billede, på den måde, at farverne som altid harmonerer rigtig godt, og jeg synes, de gør mig glad. Det er sådan et grundudgangspunkt med Randall Spanglers billeder, som kunstner hedder Randall Spangler. Han har det meget med de her drager her. Han har også lavet billeder uden drager, men det er meget de her, der er en gennemgående figur. Og det er sådan lidt, som jeg siger, drager i hverdagssituationer på en lidt, måske på en lidt med lidt det humoristiske blik for øje, for sådan man skal sige det. Så det er det her billede her, og det kommer over i bunken af dem, der skal have sort gaffatape på og skal op og hænge. Af de her, jeg har gjort færdig, så der lægger jeg den over. Jeg giver den ikke noget, som udgangspunkt, så får de her billeder ikke noget, limlagt eller noget. Jeg kan godt finde på det med det her. Og det er alene den grund, at det kommer til at hænge ude ved et rum, hvor der godt kan være lidt fugtigt. Så for ligesom ikke, at de skal drøne af stenene sådan efter en måneds tid, så tænker jeg måske, det kunne være meget fornuftigt at give det noget limlagt. Og specielt fordi det er runde sten, så der er ligesom lidt mellemrum imellem stenene. Hvorimod hvis det havde været de firkantede sten, hvor de nærmest, der sidder de jo skulder ved skulder og gør næsten, det bliver sådan en helt plade. Der er der lidt mere luft til det her, og der er lidt mere, der sådan ligesom kan rykke sig. Så det er sådan lidt, det er den eneste overvejelse, jeg lige går med omkring det her, om jeg lige skal give det en gang limlagt. Det er en, der kommer til at være herhjemme. Jeg synes altid, når man snakker med folk, det var også lidt det i går, det her frem og tilbage, og vi snakker med nogle nye også omkring diamond painting og at runde og firkantede sten. Jeg plejer gerne at sige, jeg synes for mig personligt, at de runde sten giver sådan lidt mere et blødere billede, hvor at og det kan man sige, fordi også noget naturligt, fordi det er en rund overflade, hvor de firkantede, de bliver sådan lidt mere et hårdt, altså farverne bliver meget klare på en anden måde, sådan lidt mere stringent, lidt mere hårdt i tonen, og det her sådan lidt mere blødt i det. Jeg tror også, det er en af grundene til, at der er rigtig mange af Randall Spanglers billeder, der som udgangspunkt er med runde sten. Fordi det er sådan lidt det der lidt hygge-nysse noget. Og når du laver billeder, hvor detaljerne er, som de er her, det vil sige, det er meget, i går så et meget simpelt billede, med ganske få, helt bitte små detaljer i, jamen så vil det runde give sig selv på en eller anden plan. Hvis der havde været mange detaljer i, hvilket han også har nogle af sine billeder, hvor der er, også med dragerne, så vil der også være, altså så vil det som regel være med firkantede sten. Og så vil de være større. Så, men altid, altså jeg bliver altid glad, når jeg arbejder med hans billeder. Så ja, så det var den her gang. Og jeg vil selvfølgelig bare sige til, hvis I har nogle spørgsmål omkring diamond paintingen, Jeg går sådan lidt let og elegant henover, og det gør jeg selvfølgelig, fordi at der er alligevel mange af dem, der ser, at jeg der ser på min kanal, som selv udøver diamond painting og er forholdsvis erfaren inden for det. Men hvis der sidder en, der er nybegynder eller forholdsvis ny, så er alle spørgsmål velkommen. Så det her er, hvad der er tilbage. Jeg har købt nogle nye, og der har jeg faktisk købt en bog af idé, fordi jeg alligevel var dernede. Så den her størrelse pose her, er faktisk dem, jeg er begyndt at bruge, fordi de passer rimelig godt til Diamond Art Club. De er lidt små at sidde med, når man har tykke fingre som mig, men det går. Det var sådan, det er lige en tilvænning. Og så har jeg valgt, at alt, hvad der hedder specialsten, det vil sige AB-sten og fairy dust og krystaller og sådan noget, det gemmer simpelthen for sig selv. De har fået nogle bøtter for sig selv. Og så må vi se, hvordan jeg så gør på sigt. Nu har jeg i øjeblikket har jeg taget og brugt nogle af de allerførste bøttesæt, jeg købte. Og så tænker jeg, at hen ad vejen, så når jeg har flere og flere specialsten, så skal jeg finde ud af at måske at købe sådan et helt sæt for sig selv. Kun med dem. Men jeg har ikke helt besluttet, hvad det skal være endnu. Og det er nok lige så meget det der er grunden til, at jeg ikke rigtig har rykket videre med det. Okay, jeg skal ned og siden. Og så skal vi have fundet nogle farver og noget frem. Og jeg skal have rykket mit kamera en lille smule tættere på, så jeg kan nå det. Og så kan jeg justere det siden her. Sådan der. Og jeg har bestemt mig for, at i dag vil jeg farvelægge dem her. Og jeg vil som udgangspunkt vil jeg bruge mine fineliners. Det vil sige de små, eller de er jo ikke små, men de har tyndere spids. Fineliner, så er du helt oppe i sådan noget helt tyndt noget. Så det er bestemt, hvad jeg vil bruge som udgangspunkt, og så hvis det er, at jeg beslutter mig for at tegne baggrund eller noget, så bliver det det. Og det var ikke de her. Så det her er nogle tegninger, som min gode veninde Bettina har tegnet originalerne til. Og de har siddet sammen med en kalender, sådan en årskalender. Og jeg synes bare, jeg ved, hun har lagt et kæmpe stykke arbejde i de her tegninger. Og jeg synes, det var så synd bare at smide kalenderen ud. Så jeg har klippet den nederste del af kalenderen, og så bruger jeg det simpelthen til både at træne min farvelægning, og også bare sådan for ren underholdning. Og så har jeg, det her, det er så nogle af det er den seneste, jeg har tegnet, eller farvelagt, jeg har ikke tegnet farvelagt den. Jeg kan ikke rigtig finde noget mere færdig med den, men indtil videre ser den sådan her ud. Og sådan er det gerne for mig med de her, der bliver farvelagt. Det er sådan lidt, ja, det kan det godt være, at jeg ændrer lidt mening undervejs. Og så har jeg leget lidt med de forskellige farver, sådan også i forhold til, hvad man kan sige, hvad der er virkelighedstro, og hvad der ikke er virkelighedstro. Men det er også et spørgsmål om at lege med farverne, og så må man så lære jeg jo det. Det er jo sådan lidt try and error, som det hedder. Og det der var faktisk det allerførste, jeg farvelagde. Så har jeg har også farvelagt nogle, som jeg ikke har lige her. Som er til, der ligger en kuvert, der skal sendes til Amerika. Når jeg får penge til det. Jeg tænker, jeg har 2 af denne her, og jeg tænker faktisk, at jeg vil bruge denne her. Jeg havde egentlig måske tænkt på denne her, men jeg tror faktisk, jeg tager denne her. Fordi jeg ville egentlig godt prøve de her fineliners af. Og så har jeg et andet projekt, jeg godt vil dele med jer. Fordi jeg er faktisk ved at prøve at finde ud af, og jeg vil gerne lave en form for mit eget logo her til min stream. Og det er både fordi, jeg er jo med i det her Coffee Collective, hvor vi er en gruppe under Miss Coffee, som ligesom prøver at promovere for alt det her, hvad der har med kunst at gøre, tegning og kreative ting og spil og sådan noget. Og for ligesom jeg gerne vil have, det vil jeg kunne godt tænke mig at få sådan en form for slikker. Det var sådan en mellemting mellem et klistermærke og et stikker, sådan der. Det var lige mit kamera, der blev træt af, at der ikke skete noget. Så gør det, kan jeg så godt gå lidt i søvn. Sådan der. Prøver vi at vi kan få det til at blive hængende. Jeg ved det godt, jeg ved det godt. I know. Den er tilbage. Hvad hedder det? Ja, det er fordi, der skal ske noget her foran kameraet. Hvis ikke der sker nok foran kameraet, og den ikke kan den ligesom ikke ser noget, hvis jeg ligesom hele tiden taler uden for kameraet og ikke viser noget, så går den i sådan en power save. Det kan være det. Nå, det var det her med den her det her klistermærke her. Og jeg havde egentlig haft en til at hjælpe med det, men det kom vi ikke lige i mål med. Så besluttede jeg mig for, at det er også lige meget, så prøver jeg bare selv. Fordi altså, selvom man måske ikke er det bedste til at tegne, så kan man jo i hvert fald skabe nogle idéer. Og for længe siden har jeg købt den her sketchbook, og det har jeg, fordi at jeg faktisk godt kan lide at tegne, og godt lide at male og sådan nogle ting. Men det er som så vanligvis er det mest for mig og kun mig, fordi jeg føler stadigvæk, at jeg ofte befinder mig på et niveau lige over børnehaven. Både i forhold til at farvelægge og i forhold til at tegne. Men nu får I lov til at se det, og så må jeg love mig i griner af det. Og det er også derfor, jeg tager det i den danske del, fordi der er ikke så mange på. Jeg ved godt, der er nogen, der så kan se det senere, men det må jeg også overleve. Jeg er ret glad for at tegne blomster, så det har været sådan lidt. Det her var sådan en form for en træningsøvelse, og jeg har faktisk tænkt mig, at det her stykke papir her, der vil jeg prøve det er et stort syvt. Tak Ulla, tak. Det gør mig virkelig glad for min selvtillid. Men jeg har købt noget blæk i nogle forskellige farver med sådan nogle glaspinde. Og jeg har faktisk tænkt mig at bruge dem på den her, fordi papiret er faktisk tykt nok til, at jeg kan bruge blæk på det. Og træne lidt, hvordan jeg kan farve det, og hvor hurtigt det bliver absorberet papiret og sådan noget, fordi jeg er venstrehåndet, så det skal jeg også huske at tage hensyn til. Det var sådan en lidt, jeg sad lidt og vidste ikke rigtigt. Det var sådan jeg har prøvet at tegne nogle forskellige linjer, og så prøver jeg at se, hvad det kommer ud med. Samtidig med så fjernsyn, så det var sådan lidt, nå, her kommer vi til det handler om. Jeg vil lave en lotusblomst. Og da jeg sad oprindeligt og snakkede om det, eller sad og skitser på det, så havde jeg forskellige billeder i hovedet. Og det blev sådan en blanding af en lotusblomst og en åkande. Og så var jeg sådan lidt, så blev jeg nødt til at gå ind og google en lotusblomst. Jeg har en på skulderen, men den kunne jeg ikke se på det tidspunkt. Okay, det er også lige meget. Jeg går ind og simpelthen google, hvordan ser den ud. Og så var det sådan enormt, så sad jeg sådan bare og kiggede på det der billede, jeg havde fundet. Og så var den, okay, så i hvert fald jeg kunne se fordeling af bladene. Og det er sådan lidt, det her, det kan I nok ikke se. Men det jeg har tegnet heroppe, det er sådan bare, hvor sidder de henne, de der blade der, hvor mange er der. Det her er faktisk en åkande. Og den blev egentlig sådan, den er egentlig lidt sådan, det var inden, at jeg gik ind og blev klogere. Men det var faktisk lidt tanken oprindeligt, at det skulle være noget af den her stil. Og det her, med det i baghovedet, så har jeg lavet det her som det næste. Og så har jeg, det er igen det her, det her det er jo sådan en form for en doodling, kan man sige, hvor du sidder og laver forskellige ting, og sidder bare og tegner, og så kommer der et eller andet. Men denne her op var en, jeg faktisk godt ville prøve at lave lidt mere sådan seriøst, kan man sige. Her har jeg sådan prøvet at anbringe den et sted. men det var faktisk en der, hvor min tanke nærmest var, hvordan jeg gerne ville have det sådan. Så det her, hvor jeg begynder seriøst at arbejde med, hvad er det, at jeg gerne vil, hvordan er det, jeg gerne vil have, at min lotusblomst skal se ud. Fordi et eller andet sted, så har jeg det også sådan, at altså en lotusblomst er en lotusblomst, men når jeg går ind og googler det, så kan den jo se ud på mange måder, og man ved stadigvæk godt, at det er en lotusblomst, eller det er en blanding af et eller andet. Så jeg tænkte, at lotusblomst står for noget spirituelt. I mange kulturer og sådan noget. Så jeg tænkte faktisk, at det kunne jeg godt bruge til noget. Så vil jeg gerne have, den stod på noget, den her lotusblomst. Så det her nede skulle egentlig være ligesom åkanden, men er ligesom blev sådan lidt med til, det kunne også bare lave det som sådan et evighedssymbol. At lotusblomster står på et evighedssymbol, fordi at de her blade her ligesom går ned, og så vil det passe med, at det var nede i ligesom skålen af det der evighedssymbol, det danner. Så denne her nede er den seneste udgave, jeg har arbejdet med. Egentlig den, hvor jeg har været mest seriøs med det, jeg lavede. Og er egentlig den, jeg prøver at vil arbejde videre med. Og jeg skal have tegnet den, rentegnet sådan, prøve at tegne den igen i en lidt større størrelse, og med lidt renere linjer. Jeg synes, det er rigtig svært at lave den en til begge sider, når det kommer for eksempel til det her. Og så skal jeg have fundet ud af, at jeg skal have den scannet ind, og så skal jeg prøve at arbejde med den digitalt. Så jeg er stadigvæk meget, meget langt fra det her klistermærke, som jeg gerne vil have. Men jeg er på vej, så nu må vi se. Det er ikke noget, der kommer sådan til at ske hen over natten. Det er helt sikkert, for det er stadigvæk sådan en ting, som jeg arbejder med ved siden af alt det andet. Så nu i dag havde jeg et par timer, og så blev det jeg lavede. Så er det sådan der. Jeg tænker, at jeg vil bruge finelinerne her på de mindre dele på gæsten her, som det er. Og så bruger jeg nok min Uhu markers på de større dele, så kan jeg mig selv ret. Men lige nu så får de i hvert fald nogle ben her i en farve. Jeg prøver at bruge den samme teknik, som jeg bruger med de store markers, og det er, at jeg er ret let i mit tryk. Og det betyder også, at farven et eller andet sted jo bliver fordelt. Det kræver ret meget tusind, vil jeg sige. Og de her fineliners her var faktisk ikke mine til at starte med. Jeg tror faktisk, det var dem, jeg købte til min mand. Og så fandt jeg, at der var for mange til det, han skulle bruge det til. Jeg købte nogle andre, han hellere ville have. Og så tager jeg dem der, og så kan jeg bruge dem til... Så vil jeg bruge dem til at lave de her dot coloring, men mange af de bøger, der man bruger til det, der går med, der bløder det igennem på den anden side, og det kan jeg godt blive lidt irriteret over, fordi og nogle af bøgerne, der er der tegninger på begge sider, og så er jeg jo lidt prisgivet. Spørgsmålet, du skal give den en... Hvis nu jeg giver den et... rødt næb? Nej, på det er næb. Men jeg håber, at I har det godt derude, og at det ikke har været alt for dårligt vejr hos jer i weekenden. Jeg tror, det har været meget forskelligt, hvor meget og hvor lidt regn der er faldet hos de forskellige i virkeligheden. Her så også har det ikke regnet meget. Vi havde lige sådan en lidt ligesom en tordenregn i går, hvor det virkelig bare faldt noget hurtigt og hårdt, og så var der ikke været noget. Og i dag har der ikke faldet noget, der regnede en nat lidt, men det gjorde bare så, fordi i dag der er det forholdsvis varmt, så det blev rigtig, rigtig lummert, altså med en høj luftighed. Så jeg prøver lidt at gøre det samme, som jeg gør med mine store tusser. Det er, når jeg blander farverne sammen, så farver jeg ikke helt ud. Og særligt ikke, når det er de her små fineliners. Jeg var heldig i går og i dag på arbejde, at vi har haft tørvejr, men vi har haft nogle vandpytter, hunde godt kunne lide at ligge i, så har man meget beskidt igen. Ja, det må man sige, det gør det altså. Vil man sige, at de her fineliners her er ikke som sådan nogen til at blende med. Altså, det vil jeg ikke påstå. Men man kan godt gøre det lidt alligevel, så det får sådan en lidt anden farve, end den brune ville have. Jeg prøver at tage et stykke papir her. Så ser vi lige zoom in closer. Så hvis nu jeg har denne her har jeg tegnet sådan nogle. Så hvis jeg tegner en af dem her, og hvis jeg dækker den helt til, så bliver den jo brun. Sådan helt mørk her. Det er godt, så bliver den jo meget mørk og meget brun. Men hvis jeg nu bare hernede den her kun dækker en lille smule, så kan jeg rent faktisk lægge den gule ind i. Og så giver den et helt andet udtryk, når det er. Det kan jeg også godt lidt fornemme, at den giver et lidt andet udtryk af farven. Og særligt når det så går helt ned i de helt små, som det er her på de her, jamen så vil det helt sikkert virke anderledes, end, så det ikke sådan et helt brunt, mørkebrunt næb, men sådan lidt måske lidt mere over i beskidt brunt, eller hvad man skal sige, en beskidt gul eller et eller andet, men i hvert fald giver det en anden farve, synes jeg. Og det her er jo ikke sådan noget, jeg tror ikke, at man kan sige, at der er sådan nogle større videnskab bagved det. Men det er bare sådan, at jeg gør det, og så lærer jeg jo selvfølgelig også sådan lidt hen ad vejen. Jeg vil sige, at jeg er sådan meget, nok i virkeligheden meget intuitiv, den måde, jeg farvelægger på. Så jeg prøver mig lidt frem. Det eneste, jeg ved med sikkerhed, det er, at det er nemmere at give det mere farve, end det er at tage farven af. Så hvis det er, jeg synes, den ikke har fået farven nok, så er det bedre, at jeg giver den for lidt farve til at starte med, og så kan jeg bedre tage noget farve af, eller give den noget mere farve, hvis det er, jeg synes, den mangler noget. Så tror jeg, vi tager en orange på det her. Og så lægger jeg rød i. Men altså bare så længe hundene har det sjovt, Ulla. Det må jo være det vigtigste. Altså jeg har en hund og en pestilens i øjeblikket. Han var billig til salg i morges. Jeg tror, at det lidt er, at min krop ikke har det så godt, og det reagerer han meget på lige i øjeblikket. Af en eller anden årsag, så synes jeg, at det er værre, tror jeg. Det kan være, fordi at jeg har skubbet min redning, og på den måde har vi også skubbet sådan lidt ved hvad vi plejer og sådan noget. Så det kan også godt være, at det har bragt sådan lidt utryghed ind i hans liv. Så nu føler han ligesom, at så skal han sidde på mig, fordi så er han sikker på, hvor jeg er henne. Ikke? Og det er altså, jeg har ikke været nogen steder. Det er jo som sagt, jeg har været hjemme. Men han kunne slet ikke lade mig være i morges. Altså han lå oven på mig, og jeg skulle røre ved ham hele tiden. Ligesom han skulle hele tiden se mig, eller jeg skulle se ham, eller et eller andet. Så jeg tror, at der er sådan lidt med min krop, som han reagerer på. Det har han meget. Han er en meget følsom hund, så han kan altså godt reagere på de her ting. Nå. Det her, det er Stettler Fineliners, de små her, og de store her er Uhu Marlers, og altså jeg kan kun anbefale dem, vil jeg sige. Det jeg synes, der er godt ved dem, er, at de er de er hurtigt tørre. Nu er det her sådan noget meget glat papir, så med andre tusser kan det godt være en lille smule irriterende at skulle vente på, at de tørrer, før man kan komme videre med det, man er i gang i. Ikke? Og jeg synes, det er meget rart med de her, fordi at de faktisk er rimelig hurtigt til at tørre. Og vi er ikke rigtig klar over, hvad det er for nogle gæs det her, men vi går ud fra, at det er en blanding af nogle grågæs og noget, ikke? Og jeg kan ikke huske, hvad grågæs de har farver. Alle de er i nogle grå og mørke, lysegrå, sorte toner. Den måde, jeg gør på de her billeder, det er, at jeg prøver at også at være tro mod det, som Bettina har lavet i forhold til hendes arbejde med lys og skygge. Så der, hvor hun har lavet skygge, altså noget meget mørkt, der vil jeg også, jeg vil stadigvæk lægge farve ind der, men jeg vil nok lægge en mørkere farve ind, hvis jeg kommer afsted med det. Og på den måde ligesom trække hendes skygge frem. Og der, hvor hun har lavet mere lys, jamen der laver jeg også lys. Så jeg prøver ikke sådan at lave det til en mørk ting, hvis der hun har ligesom lavet en lys skyggeeffekt. Og det har hun på de fleste af sine billeder. Nu skal jeg se, hvor jeg fik fat i her. Og hendes tegneteknik består af streger og prikker. Og det er helt vildt fantastisk for mig, fordi at det betyder, at selv når jeg lægger i skyggen, kan man se farven. Og det giver altså en anden effekt. Og så har jeg lidt fundet ud af, at de her farver her, altså selvom de tør ret hurtigt ind på papiret, men når de så ligger et døgn mere og ligesom alvor sætter sig, så kan det faktisk godt give en lille smule ændring i farven. Så det betyder lidt, at nogle gange, når jeg har ligesom synes, der var et eller andet, der ligesom ikke var helt, som jeg gerne vil have det, så har jeg lidt ventet med at ændre på noget, indtil at der er gået et døgns tid eller mere. Og så har det faktisk vist sig, at det ser faktisk helt pænt ud alligevel. Fordi farverne har ændret sig en lille smule. Den var meget blå, den der. Jeg tror ikke, vi skal have Pastel Peach. Vi skal have den her, som jeg har brugt meget, kan jeg se. Jeg kan godt se, at der er nogle af farverne, som går meget igen. Og det er sådan de her grundfarver, jeg putter i til at starte med. Dem kan jeg godt lide at bruge. Det er nogle meget lyse farver, men som stadigvæk giver noget farve. Og det giver mig chancen for lige at prøve at danne mig et indtryk af, hvad vej går vi her. Jo, men jeg har døjer jo stadigvæk med desværre med min nakke og min skulder og min ryg og sådan noget. Og så jeg blev desværre nødt til at melde afbud til sommerfesten i firmaet, og det skal jeg indrømme, det var jeg sgu ikke særlig glad for. Sidst jeg gjorde det, var jeg sådan okay med det, fordi det var også sådan lidt på grund af min krop, men det var også fordi jeg havde ondt, og så har jeg sådan lidt, mange mennesker og sådan noget, ikke? Og det var sådan set også grunden her, da jeg meldte afbud, men den her gang har jeg bare været meget mere selv involveret i selve arrangeringen af sommerfesten, så jeg ville faktisk gerne være der til ligesom at følge op og de her ting og sådan noget, ikke? Og det gjorde mig faktisk, det var jeg både frustreret og ked af, at jeg ikke kom afsted med det. Men det er der jo ikke noget at gøre ved. Det er der ikke noget at gøre ved. Så havde min mand fødselsdag i fredags, så jeg siger til ham, nu er vi lige gamle. Så fordi vi er jo samme årgang, mig og ham. Men så jeg har fødselsdag i maj, og han har i juni, så han har lige en måneds tid, hvor han er yngre end mig. Så kan han leve højt på det i en måned. Jeg var selv lidt overrasket over det, jeg lavede de første tegninger i forhold til, hvor meget man faktisk kan se i hendes skygge. Ja, det kan vi. Det gør vi om 10 minutter eller sådan noget. Så tager vi ingen på den. Så jeg er faktisk lidt overrasket over selv, hvor meget at man faktisk kan se i det her, i den her lysskygge. Fordi jeg havde egentlig troet, at det ville være mere sådan skjult. Men det er det faktisk ikke. Det var meget godt. Det er da ikke så ringe endda. så jeg fik det så tydeligt. Så det er sådan lidt, sådan noget, godt nu man føler sig sårbar, ikke? Fordi det er jo både lidt ens hjerteblod, når man sidder og prøver at gøre noget, som at sidde og tegne for eksempel. Men det er også fordi det er sådan lidt, i hvert fald for mit vedkommende, fordi jeg nok ikke selv identificerer mig som kunstner, så det er lidt mere af nød end af lyst, og det er nok også derfor, det er sådan, jeg godt er klar over, at det kommer til at tage noget tid, men det kommer til at tage den tid, det tager. Men forhåbentlig bliver det så også, hvad skal man sige, en afspejling af den, jeg er. Det håber jeg da i hvert fald, det gør. På den anden side, så har jeg også lidt brug for at en gang imellem gøre noget, der ligger uden for min comfort zone. Så jeg ligesom ikke går fast i alt det, der er trygt. Og det tror jeg meget også hænger sammen med det her med, at jeg har de her udfordringer med kroppen. Og det gør bare, at nogle af de her ting her, som jeg måske ikke er sådan helt, føler mig sådan helt hviler helt i. At når jeg gør det, så og ligesom stiller mig til skue, om jeg så må sige, så er det stadigvæk også sådan lidt bagefter, jeg gjorde det, det var fedt, det var faktisk okay. Jeg overlevede. Jeg overlevede også den her gang. Det gør man jo gerne. Jeg håber på, at jeg på et tidspunkt får råd til at købe nogle lidt flere farver i ugemarkederne. I de her tusser her, fordi jeg mangler lidt nogle nuancer engang, men det kan jeg godt mærke. Jeg sidder og farvelægger. Så det kunne jeg godt tænke mig. Så det bliver sådan lidt på min to-do-liste, når den bliver skrevet på den der ønskeliste op, hvad jeg godt kunne tænke mig at købe, når jeg kan komme afsted med den næste gang. Og så tror jeg, vi lægger en sidste. I svinefjerde. Okay, så skal vi give den sidste. Og så tænker jeg, at når vi starter op her klokken 4, jeg har ikke helt besluttet, at jeg holder en pause. Det er ikke sikkert, at jeg gør det, fordi jeg har næsten lige spist morgenmad og sådan noget. Eller ikke morgenmad, noget frokost. Det er fordi, jeg fik skyer. Og normalt, når jeg spiser noget morgenmad, så bliver det sådan lidt. Nej, det var faktisk ikke morgenmad, det var faktisk min frokost. Men jeg tænkte lidt, at så kunne jeg... Så tror jeg, går direkte fra engelkort over i den engelske del. Hvad mindre der er nogen, der har noget at spørge mig om på dansk. Det er der farve på dem alle sammen. Zoom out further. Det kunne vi lige nå. Det var noget lige. Og det er sådan lidt, det er jo en anden ting, jeg tænker lidt over, det er på de her søndagsstream, hvor jeg jo sådan set kun har en time sammen med jer her på dansk, der bliver det sådan lidt begrænset et eller andet sted. Jeg ved ikke, hvor meget sådan. Så, men lidt når vi da hver gang. Jeg havde også lige fat i min scratchboards, for det var faktisk også en overvejelse, jeg havde, at jeg skulle lave noget på dem. Og det kan godt være, at jeg gør det næste søndag. Fordi jeg godt vil have, have lavet den der færdig med pigerne. I sådan halvvejs. Der er 4 i, og jeg vil lave 2. Så ved det mig. Okay, og så er der nogle ting, som jeg tænker, at jeg vil vise her til jer, men som jeg ikke nødvendigvis viser på den engelske del. Og det har egentlig ikke noget på den måde at gøre, for jeg holder den udenfor. Men det har nok mere noget at gøre med, at der er nogle ting, der også for mig er nemmere at forklare på dansk, end det er på engelsk. Så det kan I jo så føle jer lidt privilegeret over, at I er en del af det. Så lad os måske godt lige spise sådan her. Og så skal vi have indkålene. Den der, og den der. Og vi trækker både de store og de små. Så tager vi og blander. Vi starter med de små. Så et tal mellem 1 og 25. Og det bliver sammen om uanset om det er et stort eller et lille kort. Nummer 3. 1, 2, 3. Står vær imødekommende. Sådan der. Vær imødekommende. Ja, så må vi se, hvad det store har til dig. Blande. Godt nok lige godt mærke på fuglene, når de har unger i øjeblikket. For der bliver godt nok bare tømt ud i fuglefoder. Er du så færdig? Det går godt nok stærkt. Der er en due, der er gået i seng over på det foderhusene. Ja, så sidder der sådan en due og sover til middag deroppe. Ja. 1, 2, 3. Barmhjertighedens engel. Det ser sådan der. Og det er guddommelig barmhjertighed skænker mig den gunst at være blid og accepterende. Og det andet var også noget med at være imødekommende. Ja. Lad os se, hvad den siger. Denne engel afbildes i en overdådig kappe, som indhylder os i barmhjertighedens velsignelse, når vi er skrøbelige. Den bringer håb og hjælp til dem, der kæmper, og fornyer vores tro på Guds altfavnende barmhjertighed. Liljen er universel, symbol på renhed og sandhed. Den hører til i engen i skabelsens himmel. Dens funktion er at bringe barmhjertighed ind i vores liv. Gaverne til jorden, den kan hjælpe os med at forstå Guds kærlighed til menneskeheden, gøre os bevidste om, at vi bliver beskyttet og vejledt, udvise taknemmelighed for velsignelserne i vores liv. Barmhjertighedens engel tilbyder os Guds kærlighed som en levende realitet. Når vi står over for en uudholdelig situation, og der pludselig sker et skift i energien eller en ændring af omstændighederne, bliver vi velsignet af barmhjertighedens engel. Vi støttes konstant i at ændre vores tanker og holdninger ved hjælp af den guddommelige barmhjertighed. Det kan være på små og subtile måder, vi oplever barmhjertighed. Den kan komme i form af en venskabelig telefonsamtale, når vi føler os desperate, eller en blid opfordring til tillid under omstændigheder, hvor vi er usikre på os selv. Den kan åbenbare sig i så mange situationer, vi ikke har kontrol over, eller hvor vi er påvirket af vores bevidste sind. Ved nærmere eftertanke begynder vi at indse de forbløffende konsekvenser, som et vendepunkt havde i vores liv. Dette siges måske at være en ren tilfældighed i den rationelle verden, men jeg foretrækker at acceptere det som gave fra barmhjertighedens engel. Hvad denne bevidsthed om vejledning og indgriben giver os, er en forståelse af ikke-handlen. Det betyder, at vi ikke behøver at være hårde over for os selv, fordi ting ikke udvikler sig, som vi ønsker det. At stole på, at den guddommelige barmhjertighed er en gave fra englene, gør os i stand til at tage fuldt og helt del i vores livsprocesser. Vi kan bede barmhjertighedens engel om at være aktiv i vores liv, uden at prøve på at kontrollere vores omstændigheder. Kan vi tage imod, at barmhjertighed hele tiden bliver os givet, og at vi kan overgive os til kilden. Vi kan acceptere barmhjertighedens gave ved at være nænsomme og blide over for os selv og andre. Når vi glemmer barmhjertigheden, bliver vi dominerende og kontrollerende, træder mange over tæerne, lever ud for vores ego og bliver åbne over for strid på mange planer. Modtagelsens vej tilbyder os barmhjertighed som en gave af ubetinget kærlighed. Barmhjertighed bringer os igennem de barske passager af vores liv og videre til nye niveauer af bevidsthed, hvor vi mere fuldstændig lever i den guddommelige kærlighedslys. Sådan. Og der er også nogle spørgsmål. Så det er jo både, at man skal være man skal også kunne udvise barmhjertighed over for sig selv, ikke kun over for andre, ikke? Tror jeg. Tænker jeg, når jeg hører det. Så. Noget at drikke? Jeg har været meget nede på energi og har sagt til folk, hvis jeg snakker af dem, så er det ikke dem, der er galt med, så er det mig. Ja, og det er jo så igen også der, hvor man skal kunne have barmhjertighed med sig selv, ikke? Og tilgive, at det er sådan. Fordi ofte så har folk faktisk en rimelig stor rummelighed og forståelse for, at man kan have perioder, hvor man har det skidt. Og hvor det er mere en, der har et problem med det, end alle andre. Hvor det kommer et stykke. Så, no. Jeg tror lige, vi tager 5 minutter. Og så sætter jeg lige noget andet musik på. Og så kommer jeg tilbage, og så kører vi den på engelsk. And hello, I'm back. And it is 4 o'clock. Actually, it's 10 past 4, and I'm sorry. I got a bit caught up in Le Mans, and just because there was a Danish person in the car that won, which was a Ferrari. So yeah, so I just had to see the. It was like the last distance of the last lap I saw. So I was just I'm just gonna see if he's winning, because it's Le Mans. If you don't know, it is a race for a 24-hour race, and we haven't had a Danish driver since Tom Christensen, and it's 11 years ago. So, did you see the ending? So it was like, I just needed to see it. So, yeah. It's also, I think it's always a bit emotional. I get a bit emotional when Danish people are doing great things, like winning Tour de France or Le Mans or at the Olympics or the Paralympics. That's some real, because I know there's a lot of dedication behind it. I know there's a lot of missing family hours behind it and everything else. It's a long stride before you get to that point. A lot of hard work, a lot of sweat and tears, and yeah, and sometimes a lot of ups and downs too. So when they get to that, I really get that the tears of joy and victories are so well deserved. So yeah, but now it is back to my stream, and I'm having a snack in here somewhere. Oh, here it is. So I am snacking a bit on a muesli bar, and but hopefully won't make too much noise. And I do have my, it is weekend, so I do enjoy my Pepsi Coke, Pepsi Max. It's after I got my diabetes 2 diagnosed. The Pepsi Max is something I enjoy in my weekend, and I enjoy one every one on Saturday and one Sunday, maybe two, but that's it. And before it was like I was only drinking Pepsi Max, so. I know it says there's no sugar in it, but there's still some kind of sweetness in it, so I still need to take, watch a bit out for it. It's not a health drink. Water is still more healthy for me, and I do drink a lot of water. I use water drop to flavor my water, and I'm really grow fond of it. It really works amazing. It's just a really small cube, and you put it in. It looks like a font, like these small cubes you can put in in engraving stuff like that. It looks like one of these, and you put it in the water, and it tastes like whatever. I have only iced tea because I'm most an iced tea girl. I'm really a tea girl. For the most part, every now and then I do enjoy a cup of coffee, but I think the coffee for me is more like if I really want some coffee, it's gonna be a good, I want some really special coffee. If I'm gonna have it black, for instance, Or else it's gonna be like espresso or latte or something like that, and then I need to watch out for the lactose. So it's I it's still something I'm not a lot. I'm not um, very sensitive to the lactose. I'm just, if I get too much, I will react to it. So I can actually have, if I'm not, if it's the only thing I get on the whole day, I can't drink a cafe latte or a cappuccino without my stomach is reacting to it. But if I, for instance, eat cheese and do a latte, then my stomach reacts to it. I try different variation and see where my limits are, because the things I can't live without. For instance, milkshakes, and that's something I do maybe once or twice a year, and it's a really something I do when I want to treat myself for something really I did something really good or something. Then I buy a milkshake and I enjoy every drop of it. Okay, back to this. I have finished Spring Showers by Randall Spangler, and if you have clicked into this and you have fast forward past my Danish part, and now you'll reach for the English part, welcome in to Pia's Creative Corner. My name is Pia and this is a diamond painting. I just finished it Friday, and I bought it from Diamond Art Club. And Randall Spangler is one of my favorite artists when it comes to these cute drawings of dragons. When it comes to the more realistic ones, I would say Anne Stokes is one of my favorites. But to be honest, when it comes to dragons, I really look at the individual picture and be like, okay, I like this, I like this. So, but I have, most of the dragons I have are either Randall Spangler or Anne Stokes. So, like when it comes to horse pictures, most of them are Laurie Printles. So it's like you get some favorite artists, I think, after a while. At least I have. I haven't done much enhancing on this one. I think mostly because there are 4 AB colors in it as it is, and there's not that much I wanted to do differently, because it's not like if some of his pictures, there will be books, for instance, and the back of the books will be decorated. And there I have put crystals in. Here I have only put crystals down in this just to make it pop just a tiny bit more than it does without it. But that's it. The rest of it is just as Diamond Art Club has rendered it too. So but I still like it. It's really beautiful, and the colors are so clear in the opaque in the colors. So it's the drills. The only thing about the drills, if I am gonna go nitpicking in it, I did find that some of the colors did have some of these bubbles that are like bursts, so it's just a hole in the drill. If it was a small one, I would let it stay, but I removed quite a bit, and it's not like a lot, but it's more than I'm used to, so that's why I'm gonna mention it. I bought this back in 2022, November 2022 it's from, so it's not like old. So yeah, so this is the one. And now we're gonna go for the next one. I think I'm gonna place, before I do anything else, I'm gonna place this one in here, in my binder. if I one day I would go crazy in the cross stitch. Actually, I have the Mulan as a cross stitch with the frost, so I could actually just, you know, order that if it was like I would like to do that. You never know. You never know. And I have not done anything like this before, but it suddenly occurs to me that when I look at that list, it says how many skeins I'll need of everyone. Maybe if that's like it is, always is like that when you buy a cross stitch pattern. It could be that I could just, you know, if I could find a place where I could buy them in silk, I could do it in silk. Well, maybe I should, because I have it like in my pattern keeper, so I should just buy the cloth and the silk. Maybe that's something to think about. I don't think I'm ever gonna go go boring. I will always be able to find something new to do. Okay. I'm just gonna put some things away so I'm sure I have enough space here. And I'm gonna put, someone asked in the Danish Facebook group today what to do if you are sitting like hunched over a table. This can be a solution. This is just a box from one of my diamond paintings. I have used like the ones from Diamond Art Club, so it's not like something, it's not a special one, this one. I think the only reason I use that is because the other ones I've been using for something else. But it might as well just be one of those. And then I have a board. Hello, Bench, welcome in, thanks for stopping by. What are you up to today? Afternoon. It's okay, Bench. I know what you mean. Maybe I should go and get my masking tape because I'm not sure there's enough on the picture as it is. I started on this yesterday on a stream, on an unscheduled, unplanned stream. Well, maybe there is. So I haven't like done a lot on it. And it is one of the ones that I have turned around. So I am going to show you a picture of it. It's called American Anthem. And there's an eagle on it. It has square drills, it has 43 colors. So my guess is, compared to when I look at the size of it, there will be some color blocking in it. And I already know there is, so. But it is a landscape size, or a landscape picture. But it looks like this. There you go. Yes, there you go. This is how it looks like, the original. It is, the artist is James A. Merger. I haven't done any of his art before, so it's the first time. I am doing it sideways, and that means that I'm doing it this way. So I'm starting up here, and we go across all the way down. So far my plan is I'm gonna do it both on and off stream. And the reason why I do it like, I do it on this this way is because to my liking, I don't mind landscape, but I really don't like the long way you gotta go across. It's like 7 or 8 of my my cover papers, so, and I don't want that. It makes it, to me, it makes it feel like it's a really big picture, where this is just like 4. I'm just gonna go 4 sections, and then I would be moving on and moving on and moving on, and then suddenly I will be done. So it's not gonna feel the same. And I'm gonna use these 2 trays, and Ulla was one of the ones that helped choose the pens yesterday. So these are the pens I'm gonna use. I know that Norse alchemist Jonas is releasing new pens today, and I have seen the blanks, and I think I'm gonna go for a new pen. I think I am. I'm not sure I can stay away from that one, because they are right up my alley. It's like the ones I saw were purple and white and glitter. What more can you ask for? Just saying. Let's see. Okay. So, I did this on stream yesterday. I'm just gonna check a bit for. So, Benj, how are you doing today? How are things at your place? Did you get your craft room sorted out? There you go. So, where are we going with? So what I do, because it's this is, I think, the 3rd or the 4th sideway I'm using or doing, so I'm a bit more laid back about it, but I'm still in the beginning until I add a bit more in the picture. I'm putting my containers so they will turn the same way as the symbols on the canvas. It doesn't matter with this one because it's very unique, but for instance with the next color, which is this one, it's an N, and I can read it sideways, but if you can't read it sideways, it can be, a symbol is a symbol, whether it's a letter or it's just completely strange. So you can just read it this way and it will match. So I hope that makes sense. So what do you say? I'm not bad, thanks. Just playing World of Warcraft at the moment. Yeah, it's all organized and as I like it. You know, a clean crafty space is a happy craft. Absolutely, totally, 100% agree, Benj. So much. What I did when I finished spring showers, I cleaned up my working place, working station. I cleaned all my tools. I cleaned everything up, the containers and the trays are in, and before I started preparing the next one. So it's a part of my whole or kitting down process, or what you could call it, um, is like I am doing that just to be. um, I know, to me it's like finishing that, um, finish the process completely when I do it. So yeah. Ooh, and I just got new tumble dry axe. What? And they smells really good because the other ones I had were like bit old ones and they've been lying out, like, like in the open air for a while, so they weren't that as good smelly as this one is. Like I just opened it, my drawer smells really good. Like spring flowers. Oh yeah. So are you playing the new phase 4? In World of Warcraft? I just saw it was released the other day. So my weekend became a bit differently than I planned because of my neck and all that. I was supposed to go to our summer party at my workplace, but I had to cancel. And because I had that planned, I didn't plan to go to horseback riding yesterday. So that I am going to do tomorrow, which means that my week will suddenly be a bit not stressed, but I will have somewhere to go every day, and I'm really not a big fan of that. But it is what it is, and I'm not going far. It's thank God it's still in the area. So, but I'm going horseback riding tomorrow. I have a physio appointment on Tuesday and a doctor's appointment on Wednesday, and I'm gonna work in between. so, so yeah, and battling whatever stupid body I have. So it's a thing at the moment. It's a thing. Um, I think that my dog is reacting a bit on me not being in a good place with the body, because he is usually he's happy, he's very fond of his mom, but yesterday, but especially today, he's been so clingy, and he's not been, it's like he's been keeping me awake every time I was trying to sit and take a nap or lay and take a nap in the couch. He would be like trying to get my attention. Hey, Pinks, welcome in. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you're doing okay. Hope you're having a good Sunday, a good weekend. So I think that's just him being a bit, he's a bit worried because I probably do smell a bit different because of the pain level and things like that. So yeah. Then he get a bit like he. I think it's a kind of fussing as a dog. Um, so whenever I am in the same room as him, he will be like laying very close to me. But he's been doing that for a while. DAC is taking their sweet time on shipping stuff. Really? Oh, I'm so sorry, Pinks. I haven't been, unfortunately or unfortunately, I haven't been ordering anything from DAC almost all year. Um, I don't think I'm gonna do it before we hit August or September, or maybe even maybe even first when we reach Black Friday time. So, but that is annoying. I'm not, I'm not allowed to talk about the pens. You just bought one, but has he already released one? Has he already released them, Ulla, or was it one of the other ones? Because I thought he was gonna do a release late today, like 9 p.m. or so, just to accommodate the time zone and everything. Oh, it was one of the others. Okay. Is that German? If so, it confuses me. It's not German, it's Danish. It's Danish. Ulla is writing Danish, and I'm just translating. Ulla is dyslexic, so it's just to make it a bit easier for her to be in here when we're doing the English part. So she will be writing in Danish, because that's easier for her, and then I will just translate both ways, so to speak. Got it? Don't speak anything but English. Well, it's okay. I mean, I'm trying, and that's why I keep it in English more for the most part, just so everyone is able to be a part of it. But as there are people in Denmark that's not that comfortable in English, and I do want to make it a stream or place for everyone to be in. And I did start out as I did a lot in Danish for Danish people, and I want them to feel welcome if they swing by my stream. So, so it's a balance for me to try and make everyone happy. Business as usual. So, but it's not my fault, Ulla, that you were buying a pen. I mean, you would just have to wait for later for his release. Yeah, I mean, it's all good. Was just curious. Yeah, it's quite okay. Thank you for asking. I don't mind you ask things about that. My my oh, the word here. Um, it's like that for me, that as long as you ask questions, the more you know about me, the less you can have against me. So, and as long as you ask questions, with your good heart and with, with love, then I don't mind. Then you can ask me anything. Um, So that's quite okay. So you have money for that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna see if I'm fast enough to get anything because I really think that they will be like. I think they will. I think it's gonna be fast because I think they are quite sold out quite quick. So but he also is very, I think, very sweet to, if you are like saying, I'm looking at this one, I really want it, I'm not sure, or I'm looking at these three, then he will like just hold them for a while. He said to me one when he did have a lot on his Etsy, and he was still not having that much customers. He was like, "Oh well, I can just tell me which one you're looking at. I can take them aside, and I can take them away from the Etsy side." So I think also, of course, the more customer he has, the less he can do things like that. But I think it's still possible to write to him and say, "Okay, I'm looking at this one. Um, can you please hold it just for me for 5 minutes to decide whether I want it or not?" Of course, you can't wait for next day. But sometimes it's like you're just the feeling of you're just browsing and just want, oh, do I want it, do I want this, or do I want that, and before you know it, both of them are like sold out. And this is how it is with the custom made things, because there's not like there's five of each that's completely the same. Every of the blanks are differently. So he makes this big block. I've seen it. So he makes big block with where they are like one big blank, so to speak, and then he will be like cutting them out in the blanks size. So when I buy kits, I buy them in sets of two, so I can get the free shipping, and because I can't just choose one. Yeah, I know that. Pinks, I do that. It's logical. It's completely logical. Of course, you need to buy two to get free shipping. That is my best argument. That's really nice of him. Although I am sure you have. I've seen the post, yeah, with Katie, who has like over 300 pens now. That is what I call an addiction. I would spend all my time deciding on what one to use. Oh yeah, yeah, I know that post. Yeah. I think the problem is that at the end of the day, you will end up forgetting you have pens. Um, I have like, what do I have? 10 or so. So I still know I have what pens I have, but I still feel like yesterday when I was kind of, wanted to choose which one to do, um, I think still was like, oh, I'm about to get there where there will be someone I'm forgetting. That's a lovely one you're using. Yeah, I know this one is he was inspired by the aurora northern light. I can't say the other thing. Yeah, I have like 30 something pens and like um 12, 13 3D printed trays and over 10 to 20 scented putties and glue dots. And after my 4 DAC kits come, in, I'll have 22 kits in my stash. Pinks, you have some accessories. I spend money on past pens, and my current pen is my favorite. It's so comfy, but I'm going to treat myself to a new one soon. Yeah, it is a bit of addiction, I know. And I for sure would have more pens if I had the money for it. That I know, cause I'm so in love in what he does, Jonas, with his blanks. So I would have a lot more pens. Um, I don't have that much scented party. I think I have 6 or 7 scented parties, and then I usually switch between the scented parties and the pink wax from DAC, which works for me for some reason. And then I have my what do I have there? 4 Munimate trays and my Firefly tray and a couple of other, small and bigs, whatever I bought. So all in all, I maybe have 10 or something. Oh, and not to mention close to 60 or more cover reminders. I don't even know how many cover reminders I have, but I don't think I have 60. I have around 30 kits in my stash. That I know. In that area. So, and then I'm trying to work my way to make that stash less, because I want to focus on cross stitch next year. So I think I'm like, I can't justify to buy cross stitch kits if I have like 50 DAC kits laying around and not being touched. So I want to try and end up between 15 and 20 kits. That should be doable for me. And that will be like the maximum, absolute maximum I will have. Um, and then I will, on the other side, I will be buying a bit more for the cross stitch, and that would be a bit more needle minders and other things that are like you can't live without it. There's always things for accessorize is a thing. You can't go down on that. Um, and I was actually just thinking that because I just realized that I have the cross stitch pattern for Mulan, one of the princess panels, as it is the one I'm doing in diamond painting as a cross stitch conversion. But I didn't really comprehend that I actually do have the list of the skeins, how many skeins in each DMC number, so I could actually just, get the cloth and then buy the skeins for it. So I might be doing that at one point, as it is a counted cross stitch, so, and I already have the pattern for it and the information, so that's not gonna be, that I don't have to do again. Madonna, welcome in. That section's gorgeous so Fabio. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I just started. We just started. I think when we see each other again next Sunday, um, I will have done at least a row, and you will be able to see much more. But it is something different when you do it like sideways, because you won't be able to see the picture as much as you do it when you do it the right way. I hope that's not like knitting stitch markers. I have like 50, but let me try to get 5 of them together in one place. It is not happening unless they are a bunch of the ones I'm not looking for. Oh yeah, for sure. Hello, baby. Oh yeah. I know. Yeah. So, oh yeah. That I don't. So, I have dog slobber all over my shirt. Så, læg dig ned, Stenja. Ja, læg dig ned. If what you would like to say is how are you, then it did translate it correct. Melona. It did. Ew. That is a good thing about the writing part. At least you don't have to pronounce the thing you write. So you can actually just let Google translate most of it without worrying how to say the actual words. Because that's a completely different thing. And it's I had to say to Miss Coffee the other day that because she was like, how do you pronounce Ula's name? And she was like, she tried to do it. I was like, no, that's not quite it. And she was like, that, but then how? And I said that you have to stop by my stream, and I'm gonna tell you how, cause it's a different sound. Men han er ellers lige fået lov til det. So that's my husband cleaning the floor. If you can hear something in the background. But I saw an episode from a series called Border Control it was from the Danish airport. But I also saw it from the Border Control in Sweden that they use a translate app to help if they meet people that do not speak English. For instance, refugees and people like that. So we have come a long way when technology can help us that much. So actually, because I think the problem has been that Google, among some of them, they were kind of translating, but not translating. But I think they got very much better in it. Some things I just know I would not be able to say. A lot of times with people's name, I'll ask them to spell it, and sometimes I get better. Yeah. I think with Ula, it's the sound. Because for you people, the U, the spell is ULLA. But our sound in that U is more like an oo. So it's almost like an O, but with a open mouth. So it is a different sound, and it has a different softness to it, so you play the sounds plays different in the mouth. Um, and that's like, and then we have like three sounds you don't have in English, and that makes it even worse. And the thing is that Ulla's name, when if you don't know it, it's like two names. It's Thor and Ulla. But if you don't know it, you will say it as one name. And that was what Miss Coffee did. So I just had to explain to her that it was two names. It was not just one name. So and most streamers don't mind. We want you to be happy. And you on the other hand know we are doing the best we can. So it's not like we are doing it to offend anybody if we can't say it correctly. Okay. So, oh man, you probably get people, but butchering it all kinds of ways. Yeah. Yeah. I think for the most part, Ulla just don't care that much, because it's just a part of having a name like that. You can't be too bothered at the end of the day. And you know the people will do the best they can, and if they're not Danish people, you can't expect them to be able to do it 100%. Yeah, exactly. Ulla says she's just laughing and thinking that at least they're doing the best they can. So, I mean, I actually thought that Pia was a quite common name out in the big world, and just found out recently it's not. That's not everyone that knows my name, and I was like, oh, really? So yeah, so I have, because a lot of people would say P and I, Pia, like Pia, but that like I will Bucky says. But if you don't know that you have to say it like Pea, Pia, then how should you know? I have just never thought it as that. Um, and I think that's because the most of the English people I have come across in my life has either known me, known other people like it's been more like business wise, and then they have known or have heard my name being said that, oh, she Pia will be visiting this day and this, so they will already know how to pronounce my name. um, and then of course there are countries where they will have the same pronunciation of the letter. So, but yeah. I know my sister who lives in Manchester was giving it a lot of thoughts when she had the twins, what to call them, because she wanted them to be like honoring their Danish part of the family, but still it was supposed to be a name that the English part were able to to say. So so that's why the boy is called Frederick and the girl is called Emma. So that's like, it's still some Danish names, but they are also very international friendly, I think. I actually think that a lot of Frederick's friends call him Fred for short. Well, I think the funniest thing is when international foreign people have to say Rød med fløde. Should I say that very slow? And the funny thing is, it's actually just one of the vocals we have that is like foreign. Because we actually have three sounds that they don't have in any. Yeah, I think they have them in. You could say they have it a bit in German, and they actually also have it a bit in Korean. The sound as it is. So the sound e, u, o, um, are really like unique for Denmark in that place, and I know a lot of foreign people, a lot of when they do want to try and learn Danish, it is where they struggle the most because it's such a strange word for them. The sound is strange. But I mean, when I hear like Dutch, I'm like, there's a lot of consonant in that, like where all the vocals. Um, so, and to me, it just sounds like a lot of sounds pronunciation from the back of your mouth and a bit like a so I think it's all about what you know where you grow up at the end of the day. At one point, I was trying to learn Korean because I was born there, and I wanted to be able to, you know, say the most basic things. And my Korean teacher was born in Korea and came with her husband to Denmark. He was at one point he was the instructor for the Danish Taekwondo team, and so she was learning Danish, and she spoke okay, I would say. For the most part, you would be able to understand what she was saying. Um, and she was like, it's so much easier to learn Korean than Danish. I'm not completely agreeing with her in that, I would say. But yeah, I gave up on it unfortunately because um, I didn't have the time for it. I felt like I needed more to like submerge myself into the language, and I really didn't feel like I had the time or the resources at that point, and I haven't returned. I've tried a couple of times to do like start on Duolingo and do a bit of there, but I haven't been. I don't think I'm completely 100% motivated for it, and then it's like it's a failure. So, but I haven't given up on it. I still want to learn the basic things. I know how to say hello and goodbye and thank you, but that's it. That's it. So the party I use is from Merrimud, and I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I do have it, and I want to use it until I don't have any more of it. So, and I'm not. It doesn't have to do anything with the party itself. Maybe it's more the way I work. I do think it's more about that than it's about the party, to be honest. So I am trying to, I'm only working on this picture. Um, so if I'm not taking it with me on stream, it will just be in my living room. I haven't completely decided if I'm gonna work on this on stream again next Sunday, because I do have other things I might want to work on more. Um, I am like I'm thinking of I want to do I have some scratch board I really want to get moving on, and I know I need, it's not enough just to do an hour here and there. I want to, at least take a couple of hours, maybe more. And I also want to move on with my colorings. Um, and I am um, sketching up some things with like traditional pencil and paper thing. And I want to move on with that and then try and maybe do some inking or with some fine liners, and then maybe try and scan it and put it in the computer. Not like I can do it on the computer here, but I will be able to do it on the computer, my work computer, as that would be big enough for doing that, I think. It's not gonna be a big thing. So, and the thing I'm working on is a lotus flower, but it will be a mix. So it's gonna be a mix that sesame. So I'm gonna do a lotus flower that has like a infinity symbol. It's like it's standing on the infinity symbol or laying on the infinity symbol. Um, and that's where I am. I might. I think I'm gonna do expand that idea a bit, but not a lot. I want to keep it simple. Um, and then just color it, and hopefully, I mean the plan in the end, it should. My hope is that I can end up putting it on my stream as a sticker or something, or part of the layout, that so I can have like a place to put a banner or something where I can tell about show that I'm part of the coffee collective. So as you can see, I am a multi-placer Andy. I love my multi-placers. I wouldn't be without. One of my mods, Dealer Chicken, she is a single placer. She would have single placed everything here for sure. I'm like, nope, that's my life is too short. I have too many projects in my life to single place where I can multi-place. But on the other hand, I've been doing multi-placing from almost this one. Not day one, because the first pictures I did were like partial pictures. So, but the first I did where there was like a black background. It was an Amazon kit, and I was like, I'm not gonna sit and do the whole background. It was black and as a background. It was not a big picture. It was like size of a A4 or something. No, an A3, I think, to be honest. And I was like, I need to find a better way to place those drills. So that was when I started multi placing, and I haven't looked back. And I will say, my experience with multi placing is the better the quality of the drills is, the better, the higher the chances for the result is gonna be absolutely flawless. Um, so uh, most of my DAC pictures, I would say there is there's a gap from the pictures I bought back in 2021, and the ones I bought in 2022. And it's like you can see it's a development. So it's not like from one picture to another picture, but it's a development over the pictures when you do them. I did the ones from 2021. Those I did last year. Um, because it was the old one, and it was before they moved the whole production and all that, changed that around DAC. So I was like, okay, now we're gonna draw a line in the sand, and we're gonna be okay. So so when I look at the picture, and when I think back on the work on them, I will say there is a clear quality difference in the drills, and it's more significant in the square than in the round, but you can see them, both of them. Um, so there's a lot more different in size or bad drills in the ones from 2021 than there is in the newer ones. Of course, there's still some with faults in and stuff like that, but it's not as bad. And with the square drills, where I really noticed that the quality is like here, from here it can't get any better. It's as good as it gets. It is that I can use my multiplacer and I don't have to after correct in the drills. So if I I can place 12. So if I place 12, it will place 12 in a good line, and I can just leave it with that. But if it's one of the older picture I was working on, I could risk that I could actually put 13 down in one, because they were a bit smaller in size, the drills, and they would be like almost okay to be sitting next to each other. Wow. So when people ask about the square drills, how do you get straight lines? And there are of course like tools where you can get it, but I would say that it has something to do with a lot of practice and good drills, good quality drills. water. My water. It just looked like it was gonna rain, but it didn't. It didn't rain. But other than practice, there's not much you can do to have straight lines. Of course, things does not look the same when you step away from the picture, and if you turn off the light pad and step away from the picture and look at it, there's a lot of things you don't see that you do see when you have it up close. That's for sure. And that I need to remind myself when I get a bit frustrated with the round drills and they're not looking as straight in the line. That who the hell do you think cares? I mean, they don't. A lot of them don't even know what it is, and none of them would be like, "Wow, you really made a mistake there," or be, you know, why did she give that away with all that mistake? No one will know. But you. And to me, that's more than enough. Because I was still trying to correct it. But don't do as me. No. To be serious. I have noticed that I'm not as inclined, or it's not like a thing I have to do. I don't have to correct the drills before I can move on. And with, I will say, with some of the older ones and other pictures I've been doing with square drills, it's been like I do need to correct this to move on. Hello, Catherine197. How are you doing? Welcome in. Thanks for stopping by. Are you diamond painting? What I did in the beginning when I worked with square drills, and I saw that there were like big gaps in between the drills, and if I did place them like shoulder to shoulder, there would be almost room for a whole drill, at least in half a drill. I am doing good today. Yes, I am working on Morning Glory from Craftably. Oh, nice, Catherine. That is amazing. So what I did was I took one metal ruler and put on one side of the line, this line, I would take, for instance, have one underneath the line I was working on and one above. So when I put the drills in, it was at least only the gapping in between I had to like rectify. They were not like that. For instance, if you can see that, they were not like that. So they were not like all crooked in a way. They were actually, the rulers would keep them in place, so they would be a line effect. The thing is, it was a very slow method to do, but I felt like my brain needed to be convinced that it was still okay, even if they were a bit, not 100% correct placed. And after a while, it got better. I could do more. This section would be bigger and bigger. I would go from only one line to 3 to 5 to 7 to 9. So, and then I would say it's a lot of practice. The whole how do you pick up with your new multiplacer, or what do I do when it keeps breaking, and you know, because I have plastic multiplacer in the beginning, and they last me for a month or so, then they would break. Because apparently I do use a bit of force when I multiplace to align the drills, and I don't do that anymore. Some of it went away when I got the multiplacer, and some of it went away when I got better drills or better pictures. I think to me the multiplacer from DAC is perfect because they are thin enough and they're good. I want to buy a 5 and a 10, and then one more of the single places. These are the difference. So I think it's quite clear that there's a lot of color blocking in. I just hope they keep selling them places and not focus on the silly pen idea. Well, I guess it depends on what people are buying. I don't know what pen idea it is you're talking about. What have they come up with? Because I haven't kept track of anything diamond painting related in a month. So they could have sold the whole DAC and I wouldn't know it. Yeah. There you go. The refillable pen they are pushing, and everyone is going crazy over. Oh, okay. Unless it's something you can multiply, I don't care. It doesn't sound like it's a multiply, so you can, you know. I do know I'm a bit unhinged when it comes to the whole diamond painting world at the moment. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just diamond painting. I don't know. The only reason, to be honest, I'm glad I'm back multiplacing after confetti hell. Yeah. You learn to appreciate the things, don't you? I'm not too crazy about the refillable putty pen as I use wax more than putty. Yeah, I do too. I actually do too. Although there are putty in the ones I'm using today, but they will probably be changed by tomorrow when I do start tomorrow on the next section or something. I am going to use a different thing in the multiplacer. I'm probably gonna do some putty in them. The only reason why I do um the scented putty is because I do have it, and I want to use it and just not, because I'm gonna end up throwing it out, knowing myself. I'm gonna be like, oh, I haven't used this for a year, out. So I'm not like that with everything, because there are things in my life that I don't use for long periods of time, and then I will be picking up on it again. So, but that I probably would. Trying to decide whether to go one or the other way. Yeah. Which way to go? So I do. I don't play. I don't play many games. I play a little bit. I play a little bit on my PlayStation, or our PlayStation. I found one game I like, but there are things on it that I don't like, or function, or what you say. And I think part of it is because I haven't read, you know, the whole instruction manual thing. So it might be something they can do, or ability, or place. I'm maybe just in the wrong place or whatnot. But so I have that one, and then I have I've tried Dauntless. That was actually an okay game, but I'm still, and I think that one of the things for me is I haven't played that much, so there's a lot of new words for me and new things do that, and I'm like, I just learned that ability. I just learned how to kick. Now I know how to kick, jump, and do a backflip at the same time. I'm like, okay, and that's why I'm kind of close to on a give up situation. So, and that being said, I think that's one of the things I really liked when I started playing World of Warcraft back in the days. I was one of the lucky ones that got a beta key before it was actually launched. I think we had it for 3 months or so. But that was one of the things I really liked about World of Warcraft when I did that back in the days, was that I could run around, but I could also run with others. I could kind of make up my own. All of the quests back then were most of them, I would say, unless it was an elite, was something I would be able to do one or two persons. I have avoiding going on DAC for a bit. Also, I see all the drama about the new paintings and then being pre-orders and people losing their minds over it. Said it before, but some of these VIP ladies on the VIP group make great popcorn soap opera, or as I like to call them, the real housewives of DAC. That was a good one, Binge. That was actually a good one. I haven't even thought of that. But you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I haven't been on the VIP group forever, but I'm not. I mean, and I think just in general, I kind of, I kind of tuned out of the whole Facebook thing and Twitter and all that. I have my Instagram, the one that are linked to this channel, the PS Creative Corner, and I have my YouTube channel, and I have this. I can't really comprehend much more, and but I was actually I did stop by today just to scroll down my news and notifications and all that, and this like a lot of the posts are already like a month or so old. So I'm really like in the dark with a lot of things. However, of all days, I actually read the post that Jonas just posted this morning, or this like 10 o'clock, I think it was, that in his group for Norse Alchemist, there has been someone, because it was an open group, so apparently there was someone who had commented on something in a not very nice way. I haven't seen it, but that kind of made him make it a private group, because he was not prepared. That I think he made the Facebook group, like just a service so people could see what each other bought, and they could ask him questions, and so it's not going to be anything per se. But on the other hand, these people that are commenting on his posts, like, what do they know? Is there any one of them who was doing diamond painting and all that? And I think he was a bit surprised that apparently he got so popular with his pens that now he is a target for online bullying and stuff like that. You were in the VIP group this morning? Oh God, I dare not ask. It sounds ominous. I was on the Facebook group this morning. Oh no. I think for me, it's like I just don't get it. I just don't. I don't get why people are like that. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Um, why is it is such a breaking, like, it's what makes their day is if they can kind of assault other people. They don't even know them. They don't even care. They don't care about the group. They don't care about the members. Just if they can get anyone to jump off their chairs and go into fighting for something they don't know. It was a kind of crazy. Oh God, you have to spill the tea now, Catherine. You know that, right? You can't just go like that. Be like, oh yeah, I was on the Facebook and it was crazy. I'm like, mm-hmm. We weren't there. We don't know. But people, and that's what I think is sad, that people do tend to act very entitled and very like, would you really be like this out in the real life, out where people they would be like stepping back at you, or, you know, I'm not sure you would, to be honest. There were a lot of complaints about the size of the new box. Okay. So they launched a new box for diamond painting kits. People thought it was too big or what? Someone posted a few weeks back that her husband was having an affair and was caught out, and for him saying sorry, he let her buy 50 paintings. Like, sorry, but too much information. Oh, yeah. That, and why? Why tell all that? Oh, Jesus. Go to a therapy session instead. Please. The new box is so much bigger. Oh. But maybe it was to prevent the pictures from being squished. I don't know. Why is it a problem? Is it a problem because people can't stash the pictures the same way? I have so many questions now. Oh God. People should get a life. I mean, may your problems never be bigger than that. Oh, my life is so rubbish because DAC has decided to make the boxes they sent the kid in bigger. Well, that's crazy. Why all people on the internet? I don't know. They are complaining that they can't hide the balls from the husband. But yeah, I would imagine it would be something like that. I mean, I guess if you really feel like it's a problem, I think the problem is bigger than the box has changed size. I think that, to be honest. Um, I know my husband got a bit surprised when he saw how many kids I actually had on in my room that was not finished. I think he just because he's not coming in that end of the house very often. So it was just when we were changing things around after the kids were moving out. So and then he like realized, he was like, whoa. And I'm like, yeah, okay, moving on. Because he's not home most of the times when I get packages from DAC. So he's not. Oh, I don't think even he always know when I've got some packages or some kits. I will say most of the time I will show him, but I know some of them he has never seen. And most of them I show when I unbox them, so that would be, you know, some of them I think it's 3 or so I haven't unboxed. At the end of the day, they don't have self update. Oh no. No, I mean, and I mean, if it's really seriously, if it's something you feel like you need to hide, then it because then it has nothing to do with the kids or the pictures. Then it has something to do with you are having an addiction, whether it's a game addiction, whether it's food addiction, drugs, alcohol, drugs, whatever it is, shopping. The addiction side of it is where it gets over exaggerated, where you're going from just being happy to do it till it's getting a thing you have to do to be happy. and it makes you feel safe, or it makes you feel happy, or it makes you feel you don't have to think about all the other bad things that have maybe have happened in your life. I'm just saying that if that's if it is a problem, I think it's not it's not DAC you have to complain to. I think you should get help from someone who can actually help you. DSA can't help you with that. I can't wait to get my DSC order that has the new packaging. I have to see this in person. Oh, please, Catherine. I really want to know what we're talking about. Um, I'm like, maybe I should just buy a picture just to see it. Um, I do have some points and stuff, so I could actually go for that one. And I am, because when I reach month of August, I am kind of getting a little bit more balance in my finances, so that I could buy one or two kits there. So, oh God! But we are back at the um because this is what happens every time they do something new, DAC, when it comes. I think, and people are just, we as a humans are very much into how things usually are, and that makes us feel safe. So when things change around, we're not always happy. So so every time DAC does something differently to try and accommodate people's requests and all that, there's always going to be like people are banging on it and bashing it, and instead of, because one thing is to give some constructive feedback and see, well, this is good and this is bad, this works, this does not work. That is something that the DAC or the developer or customer service can use that, but they can't use it when you just like, oh, this is just some rubbish, or this is some crap, and why don't you do as I wanted, and blah 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 blah. You can't use that for anything. I'm saving to go to Iceland in the winter for a city break. Oh, Iceland. You need to save up a lot of money, Bench, because that is an expensive place to be. But I do envy you that trip. My mom went to Iceland to do business there. She said when her and dad came back, it was the most amazing trip she ever did. So yeah, it is a really special place. I would love to go there someday, at least to ride on the horses. I don't mind the pre-orders, but there's a lot of unhappy people about it in the Facebook group. Yeah, there's, but there's always, when they had like we have been there before. When they moved their storage, there was a lot of people were not happy about the move. They were not happy about have to wait for things. We have had it with when J Wall, when they had the whole commotion when they were stopping that cooperation with her, and the kids were like they would come out and they would like, people had to be really fast to get the kids, and they were like, when there was not anymore, there was not anymore because it was discontinued. The group went absolutely ballistic, and I mean, it's just like, you know, I get why you get impatient. I know, I get why you can be like, but I actually back then with the I think it was with at one point I asked for a restock list because I was like, I really wanted to know when the restock. I think it was with the J Wall. Um, and they gave me a restock list, and they said, well, this is just approximately, so we can maybe, it will be like at least here we think we're sure that it's gonna be, but just so you know whether is it gonna be this year or next year. So, and I have never tried to not being taken seriously by the custom service. When they put the new trays in the kit, the very first one was not very good. So I sent some feedback in with pictures and said, well, see, this is how what happens, and when you use the stopper, it breaks and all that. I was like, I really think that's a good idea to change up and you get your own trays in, but just know this happens. And even though you get a new one, next one is still like a waste of trays in a way. Let's face it, folks, the majority of them complaining about pre-orders are just wanting the painting for the stash. It's not like they want to start it right away. I can, I'm sure some people are like, not like that, but the majority just want to collect the pictures. So what's the issue? Yeah, I think you are right on spot there. Um, I do get it if you're like, this is the first picture you buy from DAC, and I get why you want it right away. I'm like that too. But if I do get like a date or something, I know that it's gonna be shipped between this and this date. I know that, well, then I don't have to get, um, angry or feel like I am not treated the right way or whatever people feels like. Um, I know when it's gonna be here approximately. Um, and then I will just have something else to do in the meanwhile. If I don't have a diamond painting, I will have something else to do. And I mean, read a book or something if you don't have any crafty things to do. It's just crazy. I think if people can be like that. I think it's a really ugly sight. People show some time. And I mean, there's a reason why they have put these orders. It's like a pre-order thing. So they don't do. DSA is not doing this to annoy you or make your life more difficult. I know people see it like this. It's like, oh, the only reason why they do it is to bother me, but it's actually not. It's actually not. So let's see. Okay, I think I'm going to split this here. Here. Right here. And I'm going to change this with some, and the reason why I changed this with wax is because I am entering a section where there will be some AB drills, and I do like my wax to be a bit more used when I start working on the ABs. So these hearts here are actually from DAC kits, and that's what I use on my multiplacer for the most part. Oh, Ulla, are you there? Could you please give a shout out to Binge Bear and Catherine197? Then it would be amazing. So we keep that ability up, you know? Thank you. So yeah, it goes. It's really, this one is really showing how quick you can do it with the Well, you got me painting it. You went from World of Warcraft to diamond painting. Yes. It's been a while, haven't it? That you and I have been doing some diamond painting together, like either in on when I'm streaming or you're streaming. So I think this here shows how fast it goes when you do a lot of color blocking. Um, and I would say if I wasn't streaming but just diamond painting, I wouldn't. It would go even faster because I wouldn't be like, you know, distracted by things. My problem is I hate this painting, but I don't have it in me to kit up another kit right now. Oh, oh, you're working on the Dreamer design painting. Oh, and Binge, there's something you don't like. That is kitting up or kitting down, right? Is it really that horrible? Oh, I'm so sorry, Binge. I threw mine out. I haven't thrown it out yet, but I am going to. The drills are awful. Oh. And this is kind of funny because it's not the drills on the picture I have. It's more the print that made me. I. It's the first and only picture I ever tried that actually made my brain hurt. But I am sorry, Bench. Maybe you should just do some coloring instead. So I colored earlier on the Danish part. I did some seagulls. I don't think seagulls have ever been seen in these colors, but now they are. And I think I'm gonna do some scratch board because the thing is, I only have like an hour, and I don't mind not um, I don't mind not doing diamond paint. I'm not sure I'm gonna do. I'm gonna work on the picture here next weekend just because I've been working on it all week. So unless I'm just in a flow situation where you just want, you want to keep moving and you don't really want to have that break, then I might. But I also not might. it's a shame. I like the picture, but I always used to hear people speaking about popping drills and was like, that has never happened to me, and is being this been something I am now learning. Oh, bench. That is awful. I would prefer any day that the drills are like a tiny bit too small than they are too big. I had I was making a zodiac sign, and it was the drills there were so bad, and they were just popping left and right, and it was a gift, and I remember it like yesterday because it was very close to my wedding, and I needed to be finished to one of my sisters, and I was giving it to her like a thank you for all she's helped me up to the wedding. And those drills, I think I gave it 3 coats to just be sure that it, and then I put it in a frame with glass on, just to be sure and hope to be sure that they wouldn't fall off. Because every time I was touching, just moving it a bit, that would be popping drills, and they would just leave the canvas. Oh, the popping drills. Yeah, I have that sometimes with DAC paintings. Oh, really? I have never tried that with DAC paintings, the popping thing. I've tried. I am sometimes where like where it's more because I'm not that precise in putting the drills when I'm water place. So I would be like taking my hands and then just be sure that everything is down. Like here, I feel like I just need to press these down, then they would be aligned with the other ones. Oh, really? I mean, I think if I had popping drills in a DAC picture, I would for sure complain to custom service and be like, I don't think this is okay. so, so I have only tried it with and I would. This is not cheap, but cheap quality pictures. Not cheap pictures, but they were not cheap. But it was China pictures, unfortunately. So, but I have never tried it with the AC pictures. Not yet, anyway. You should never say never. I think the new grid is too tight on the square diamond paintings. Oh, hang on. I'm just gonna help Ulla. Hmm. Shout Jeg tried jeg har lige skrevet det til dig inde på Instagram, Ulla. But that part of me who has spent a lot on this, as it was like £75. Oh, that's kind of money for one painting. I want to push on, but I need to take frequent breaks. Yeah, I get it. I think it happened on one of the new paintings with the title. I would for sure write to custom service, and at least tell them about it, in a nice way. Um, oh, I know what's wrong. Sælger du et snabelag? Ja, der var den jo. Manglede der ikke et snabelag? There you go. There you go. And one more for Catherine 197, please. Is it just me, or has DAC changed its name to Ocla Studio? It's just you, Benj. This is you. I don't know. I think I haven't seen the news releases actually, so so I'm very cocky when I say it's just you. I saw them for not this Saturday, but the Saturday before. One. Is it just one? Or what? One or two? Two? No, one. Oh, okay. Okay. Perfect. Thank you, Willa. Well, we learn every time. Thanks for the shout out, Willa. But now you got me to look at it. But just because I was curious. Oh, I want that with the wolves. Everyday switch familiar. Oh, that's a pretty one too. Gothic girl, it's so loud. Oh, and that's a pumpkin. That's really beautiful. I like that. Yeah, it's really beautiful actually. It's a big one. It's 93 by 70. It's 69 colors, square dwells. It's a big one. But yeah, how does the rendering look? Oh, that's a beautiful rendering. Oh, I'm gonna put that on my wish list. Oh. What's back in stock? Dragon Wagon. Ooh. Glass Mermaid. Dakota Deadweiler. Witch's Greenhouse. Ooh. That was actually one from my wish list. I have to close this too. I'm gonna hurry and close it. So, back to diamond painting. No more shopping. No more distraction. Now we're gonna put some drills down. But I think it's good to practice, Ula, now when we're not, that's not that busy and all that. Shout out. Good morning, Gina. Welcome in. Thanks for stopping by. How are you today? Have a seat and a cup of coffee. It means shout out, Ula. Yeah. That's what it means. Perfect, Gina. Perfect. We were just talking about the whole DAC commotion, about all the pre-orders that are not coming quick enough, and the packages changing sizes and all that. I'm like, I think because I'm not that much in on Facebook anymore, so I'm left out in the cold. I'm like, whoa, what's happening? I do believe that even if I was in the Facebook group, or I am in the Facebook group, but even if I was active, I still don't read those posts. I'm like, oh yeah, moving on. Say what pre-order stuff? Well, apparently people are a bit impatient about the pre-orders that are not arriving quick enough. And then DAC has changed the packages so they are bigger. Uh, is the rumor. So and I'm like, what's the problem in that? That it's more difficult to hide it from your husband or what? Or your spouse? Hello? Is that a problem? Do you really need to hide it? But as I say, there's also always something going on in the VIP group. There's always someone who is loudly unsatisfied about something DAC either do or don't. So no matter what they do, DAC, they will never win that one. It's like almost being a man, I think, or husband. No matter what you do, it's a no win. I think some people don't like change. I agree so much, Jana. I just said it. It makes people so uncomfortable. Ooh, changes, yes. We don't like. No. But changes is a part of life. Maybe, but we don't like. Oh man. Yeah, isn't it, Catherine? It's like, but it is something with the fact that no, because and that is also a part of the truth is that with so many people doing this kind of craft, no, and being a company like the AC, no matter what you do, you will never be able to make everyone happy. There will always be a group that will be unhappy with no matter what you do because it will never be exactly what they want. There will always be something that's kind of off. So, so I think the best approach is like, okay, we're gonna do some changes that we think make sense accordingly to our business plan and our strategies and the majority of the customers we think, and and then the problem is that a lot of the people that are not satisfied are also the people that are like the loudest one, and therefore they sometimes might, the voice of them might be louder and people will be listening to them, and DAC will be listening to them by accident. Hopefully they will learn in time that maybe they shouldn't always listen to the loud ones. I think sometimes that is what's happening behind the scene. That it's hard to ignore like the loud ones, but if you look at your customer base and be like, okay, with all these customers and there's this amount of people are buying from us and has like diamond tier account, so that means that they will buy from us frequently. So how many of these are actually really not happy with what we're doing? Because they had those are like data they have. Um, so information about that can be more, realistic than what people think is the truth or isn't the truth. So So of course sometimes you will be making mistake also as a company, and you will be making wrong choices and things like that. And as one sad one, that when you are like you're producing things like this, when there are mistakes making, it's not something you can rectify right away. It is like something that has been going on. You have to go through a whole stash of their storage before like a new batch of whatever is incorporated. So even though they might be like, well, we have made that change, we have actually listened to you, it's not gonna be changed for a while. um, and there will still be like kits with old plastic and not perforated, or there will still be kits with cover minders, or so so in that way it's like um, it's like there's a slight delay on the changes. So yeah, but I think it's a bit crazy that people are going absolutely ballistic over the change of packaging. I'm like, what the actual hell? Unless it's a minibus that's arriving, I don't think there's a problem. You'll just have to dismantle that packaging, and then I mean, you will find another way to storage it, won't you? Anyway, thank you, Ula. Hmm. Times fly fast when you're having fun. So I have around 45 minutes left on my stream. Um, I was actually thinking of doing something else like the scratch board, but I am in a flow right now with my drills, so I think I'm just gonna keep moving here. My husband went to buy groceries, which he does every either Saturday or Sunday, but it's in the weekend. And just yesterday, the government came with an announcement that we were supposed to, a recommendation that, accordingly to the world's changes, and we are more vulnerable to terror attacks and all that. When it comes to our infrastructure, so it's not like an open war, but more like on the water or electricity side, that we should stock up. So be sure that we would have enough like flask water and toilet paper and stuff like that. So we could be without shopping for 3 days. So today when my husband went shopping, I was like, okay, because we've been doing this for a while. I just stopped with the bottled water because it's not that necessary. I was kind of thinking maybe it was too expensive in a way, but I will be using it for my very special tea. For instance, I will be using bottled water because the water we have is very has a lot of chalk in it, so it's like hard water. Um, And so he went for shopping and he came back and said, there was no bottled water, like no 2 liters or small bottles with half a liter, nothing. They were ripped. I was like, but you know, I was like, what the actual? And this is just like so typical. Oh, so Ulla said she just got a shock. Her husband just yelled because Denmark just made a goal in soccer or football. Okay, I'm not. We're not following that very closely here. That I will say we're not that big of enthusiasts when it comes to football. We are more into the motorsports world. But and I was like, well, was there any yeast? Because last time people in Denmark went crazy with buying, they bought yeast and egg, I think it was, and toilet paper. We bought toilet paper during the pandemic when they when they locked down Denmark. Everyone went for toilet paper. That was it was like so crazy. That is one thing I love about Scotland. Our water is so pure, we don't need to buy water. Well, it's not like it's polluted our water. It's just I don't like that much um, chalk in it because it's natural water. It's clean. We have really clean water, and you can drink right out of the tap. But in the area where we live, it's very hot water. But if we go like to northern of Denmark, it's very soft water. So, but everywhere you will be able to drink the water from the tap. Um, so, and I don't mind if I'm gonna put everything like when I put taste in the water, like I do with my water drops. But the tea tastes more very different whether you use tap water or bottled water, and I love the bottled water that much more. So I do that, and I use it for my coffee machine just so I don't have to clean it that often for and you know free from all the calcium thing on the sides. So, but and that's what we were talking. I said what we could do was to start collecting rainwater again. We did that at one point. For just to have we had a really huge container for rainwater and a filter to clean it, so it could be used for watering the garden or giving the birds water. And it would if they closed off the water in the country, in Denmark or for a region, we would be able to still put water in our water closet or get clean if it was more than 3 days, for instance. So it would absolutely, make it more like it's a possibility where I'm like, we could do that for very little money. Um, and like I said, for us here, because we shop for a whole week, so if one of the days during the week or 3 days during the week, we could just um, keep ourselves fed for the whole week. But and if it was more than that, um, we could still get food because we will have buy meat for a longer period of time. So as long as we have electricity, that we will have to that would be like a challenge. But for 3 days you just have to be honest, for the first days, if you don't open your freezer too much, the food will actually be able to be I think it's 2 days it can be in the freezer before it gets bad if you keep the freezer closed. I talked to one once when we had a big electricity breakdown in Denmark, and I was like, my freezer, and they were like, yeah, don't worry, we will get our new electricity before you run out. So, but and I was like, as long as we have like for our grill or barbecue, I don't worry, because that will keep us with food. But I think it's also a mental thing, you know, up in your head that you need to uh, have this in mind that this is actually an option. I think, and they said yesterday, now don't go out and go completely ballistic and buy whatever, because just one thing at a time. Stock up one thing here, buy a bit extra there, and just be sure that you have a little bit extra so you can some batteries and a radio where you can hear notifications from your battery. Be sure you have a power bank that you keep power on all the time and stuff like that. So you will be able to be keep in contact with the world around you, and so that you will be able to get food. Get food. Oh. I know that when my sister lived in Gloucester, which is outside Manchester, they had like a filter so you could drink the tap water. Um, but I never did, because you know, I have so much respect. It's a thing. Um, I got a good piece of this done today, I think. I'm just gonna keep on pushing tonight. What is it? It's okay, I have a half an hour. So I'm just gonna, cause there's like a one here and one is, I know is AB drills. But I'm gonna work a bit with my multiplier here with waxing. Thank God there's a lot where I just need just an ordinary drills where I need it, so I can use it for that. But I do need to just run off for 5 minutes. Hang on, girls and gals, I will be back in a sec. I'm back. I am back. Let's see. Where am I? There you go. Lulu says, I'm not into football. I'd rather see handball. Yeah, okay. I don't know. I think for me, handball was something I saw back in the days with the Iron Ladies, and it was a special time, I think. I remember, I can't even remember what the final, which final it was, but it was. My sister was still living in Denmark, and she met her ex-husband. Uh, I can't even. I know. I don't think so. I don't think so. At least we were had an appointment out there. We got meet for some girls' night in with blankies and hot chocolate and candy and just being yapping a lot. And I said, well, okay, but I really want to see the final in this match. Um, and she was like, no, and I really want to see that. And I said, yeah, please, because I've seen some of the matches and they were really interesting. And so it all ended up with her and me sitting and being like almost arguing about what team was the best, because the Danish team was up against was the South Korean team. So, and then I think the South Korean ended up winning that match. Um, and my sister was a bit grumpy on the good in the good way, and and we had a really nice evening with hot beverages and candy and a lot of good times. And then I needed to drive home. It was cold, I think, because there was like almost ice on the front of the front window of the car I had at that time. And I was just the car was running to heat up and get defrost and all that. And then there came a policeman came and knocked on my window, and he was like, "Good evening, and may I see your driver's license?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And he said, "If I got anything to drink?" And I was like, "No, I only drink tea." And I said I was just watching the match in the telly with my friend. And he looked at me and he looked at my driver's license, because in my driver's license it says I'm a Danish citizen, but I was born in Korea. So he looked at me and looked at my driver's license and was like, "So what team did you you put your money on?" I was like, "Yeah, I was a bit torn, but I ended up being on the Korean side." And he laughed and said, "Okay, have a good night." So yeah. But I haven't followed the national team since then. I've never been into handball for that. I'm more into gymnastic and when they and motorsports thing. To be honest, that's more me. That's more me. So yeah. To Formula One and Le Mans and things like that. And then I like seeing, of course, horses when they have the competition in that, in the English dressage. I find that is very interesting, and unfortunately, also the more I get to know about it, I also find it very deeply disturbing. But that's more to do with animal cruelty, abuse, and stuff like that, because apparently the higher level, the better you get. the more things you need to strap your horse into, and the more pain you need to inflict the horse to do what you want it to do. So that's a thing, but it can be done very nicely, and it can be done very ugly, unfortunately. Yeah, Le Mans, the 24-hour round. But there's also, I think there's, isn't there one more in the States that's 24 hours? So, but that's a world. The horse world is something I just entered, like more, seek more information about it, things like that, in in the competition world. Um, and I'm just glad. You know, whatever, and it's just sad because we should be better than that. Come on, don't do this to me. Don't. I'm losing frames like nothing else here. Oh no, please. This is so strange because it actually this happened like last Sunday at the same time. Oh, now it's back. But I can't do anything about it. I mean, it's not that much in my I can't I don't have anything open. Like, the problem is I don't have anything open besides my OBS and my camera. So it could be my computer that is just, you know, it's like trying to survive thing. Oh, now I know what it is. I think I know what it is. It's trying to update. Okay. 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 What we do is we're gonna end the string here, and I'm not gonna pick up something new. I hope you can still hear me. I know there's a trouble with my picture because I am losing frames. So, but I hope you can still hear me. Um, you can still hear. Perfect. Because my computer is trying to update, I think, and that's why I lose frames because it is a bit. My computer is a bit, um, as I say, it's a bit old and it's doing a lot more than it can actually do. I think sometimes I kind of demand more of it than it can actually cash in. So what I do now is I'm gonna end the stream and we're just gonna end it here. Because this is just, it is what it is. I can't do much about it. What is kind of, and we're so close to the finish line after all. So I'm gonna finish now, and I'm gonna say thank you for stopping by, and thank you for being part of my stream today. I hope all of you will have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and thank for your support. On this stream, I'm also gonna thank the ones that start following me without actually being on my stream, and that's still a support that I really, really appreciate a lot. And I know some of them are from raids and other places I've been, and for that I'm really grateful. And that is a good example that shout outs do work. so, so the last thing I'm gonna talk about on this stream is that due to the fact that I am very close to my goal when it comes to following on Twitch, I am going to look more into a giveaway in the beginning of the new year. So yeah, so I am going to go with that one, just to let you know. Take care out there, and thank you for today. Say hi to everyone I know. Give yourself a big hug, and and remember to love yourself as much as you love other people. Bye.